Okay. Hey, Alan, how are you?
Narelle Gatti, it's always a pleasure.
Thanks. Alan,
Always.
I've got an idea.
I love your ideas.
You might not like this one as much.
Oh,
We'll see.
I usually do.
Podcast.
Yes. Tick.
Okay. However, Dylan Alcott, you know, the Australian of the Year last year?
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever met him. I've never met him, but I'm a big fan. And he does a podcast called Listenable. And he does it with a guy called Listenable. Listenable. I think it is Listenable. And he does it with a mate of his called Angus O'Loughlin. And they shine the light on disability and on all the success stories and people's lives and the fact that life goes on. Yes. We don't stop. Okay, yes. Like a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, he did about a fashion designer, a vision impaired fashion designer. Incredible.
Yeah.
Just some really great people. I've really loved it. However, I want to sort of do only a part of it.
Right.
I don't want to do everything that Dylan does because that's covered.
Right.
I want to do one about digital accessibility because that's our area.
Yeah.
However, I want to focus on 4 themes.
Right.
The first one is communication.
Right.
Because accessibility, digital accessibility is about communication.
Sure is.
Which is where you come in. You're going to be interviewed.
Right.
Okay. The second one is about accessibility.
Yes.
Because that's what we're talking about. If it's not accessible, you're not getting your message across.
Yep. Yes.
The third is usability.
Yep.
Because to get the communication across, the information, whatever the platform is, whether it's a document, a PDF, whatever, it has to be usable.
Yes.
The fourth one is sort of out to the side a bit.
Love out to the side.
Resilience.
Ah.
And the reason for it, and you're a good example, and Muscat's a good example, when we can't find information and we have to have the information, even if it isn't accessible, all of us with a disability, we have to keep plugging away until we get it. Yep. So it could mean a lot more phone calls. It could mean a lot of frustration. It could mean, you know, you go from website to website because you can't find the information.
Yep.
And to do that, you need to have true resilience.
Mm.
What do you think so far?
I like it. I think rather than draw them down the page, I'd like to think they're a circle.
Ooh, yeah.
Because as a circle, you can start anywhere.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
And I always have a slight, there's something that pulls me up when somebody says resilience.
What word would you use then?
And, you know, when you say accessibility, every part of me goes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you go usability, every part of me goes, yes.
Yeah.
When you go resilient, I always think that means I've got to go down to get back up.
What word could we use then?
Well, me being me, and for people listening or observing or hearing, it's important for me to identify that I'm very obsessive compulsive by nature. So I've always got 5 plans.
Yep.
So I've been an endurance athlete for 50 years. And part of running a marathon or running an ultra marathon is the thought of going down never crosses your mind.
Yep.
Yeah. And to do that, determination, discipline.
Ooh. I think I like the word determination.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
But discipline's a goodie from my perspective, because discipline means I can't make excuses. If I set myself, if I agree to you to meet and do a podcast, I meet with you and do a podcast.
Yep.
Yep. And
so
that's because of my discipline about being organised and keeping my word.
So what we're saying then, accessibility plus usability plus determination plus discipline gives communication.
And they circle. And if people don't like discipline, I like to replace it with the word devotion.
I like devotion better than discipline.
Yeah. Because I'm so devoted to, in our working business relationship and personal, I'm devoted to making sure that I not only do the things I say I'll do on time, but I also really become conscious that each time I'm interacting with you, I've got to be more attentive with my use of language to make it easier for your brain to make pictures of what I say.
Yes.
Hence,
I love it.
Hence me deliberately connecting it to running and doing ultra marathons. Even though it's not something you've done personally, it's easy for you to make a picture of me running.
And do you know what? The only thing we don't have a name, I love that. I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
We don't have a name yet. Okay, so I was talking to Muscat this morning and he goes, no, I want to use some jazz music because there's lots of poppy stuff. I love jazz. Okay, get a good instrumental.
Yeah.
Have a good opening, strong, and now we've got the good, strong opening.
Yeah.
Interview you. Can I tell you some names of people I want to interview?
Yep.
The Blind Chef, Craig Shanahan.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. I'd love to get hold of Dylan Alcott.
Yep.
Because he covers whole of disability. We're looking at a section that impacts not just everyone with disability, it impacts everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking someone like, I just have so many ideas. I know a lady, she is a business owner herself, and she's got an ADHD child. Right. And he's a teen now. And I thought, my gosh, what a great person to interview, because she's coming at it from a parental point of view and from a business point of view.
Yeah. Nice.
And, I want to hit some, people that are well known, but I want to hit everyday people that are out there working and not letting things stop them. What do you think?
I love it.
So I've got your agreement?
Yep, definitely. And
Done.
by the way, I have run into Dylan Alcott in airport lounges about 3 times, and we have sort of eyeballed each other and introduced each other.
Well,
yeah.
Excellent.
So I don't have a way of contacting him except the usual, things. But I might see if I can track him down.
Or even his podcast co-host is the other person I thought, Angus O'Loughlin.
What's Angus's last name? O'Loughlin?
O'Loughlin or O'Loughlin, I'm not sure which.
Yeah.
And he is really taking on board disability and the impacts of disability and how it affects the whole community. It's really interesting listening to their podcast.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's get on to it. That will be one of our year 2 things. Let's do a podcast.
Yeah.
Done. I will organise.
Yeah.
Actually, let's interview Jen, because Jen
Yes.
works with the three of us, and she
Yes.
gets to hear everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she could also talk about how do two-sighted people, or actually both of us are lost without our glasses, but people with, sight, we're sighted. How do two people work with two people who are not sighted? And how do we accommodate that? Because from my perspective, and I've said this to people a lot, somehow or other, the way I work with you and Mark and the way you and Mark work with me, I never feel like your disability of sight is never a problem.
Excellent, because it's not a problem.
I don't see it ever gets in our way.
It doesn't. And Jen could bring in English as a second language.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh, because that's a huge barrier of communication as well.
Yeah.
Excellent. I will organise, Alan. Thank you. Thanks for your time.